Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. It's week 10 in the NFL. We are talking with professional handicapper Doug Upstone. This is our regular segment, false favorites and top underdogs. Doug Upstone, what's your first false favorite or top underdog for week 10 for us?
Well, Peter, I'm going to try and improve on the 17-10 record for the season.
Nice.
And my first one is going to be a top dog on the Miami Dolphins at Philadelphia. The Eagles are back to 500 after beating Dallas, and they've won 3 out of 4. Their offense seems to be clicking, especially the running game at over 172 yards per contest. And Sam Bradford seems to finally have something going with his wide receivers. Conversely, after a really good start by Miami with Dan Campbell, the shine is off his apple with losses by 26 and 16 points in the last 2. And, of course, you might have probably seen the rumor mill that Miami might be looking after Sean Payton of New Orleans to be their coach next year. But even though Philadelphia is playing better, I just can't, I like what they're doing, and you can really justify the 6.5-point spread, but I cannot get over, and on these videos the last several years, I have pounded the fact that Miami is 29-14-2 now against the spread as a non-division road underdog. I'm not going to ignore it this time again. I like them as a top dog, the Miami Dolphins.
That Doug Upstone, I'm in complete agreement with you. I actually bet them at +6. Now it's up to 6.5. I previewed this game with Joe Duffy. He said he liked Philadelphia. I told him, Joe Duffy, I'm not convinced. I'm going head-to-head with you on that one, mano a mano. I think he's wrong. I think you and I are right on this one, Doug Upstone. What's your second top underdog or false favorite for Week 10?
We're going to stick with the top underdogs, and we're going to go with the Chicago Bears to use the points wisely this week. Now, the Bears are only 3-5 in the season, but they have covered 4 of their last 5, and I don't think it's luck that this is the case. John Fox and his offensive coaches have been the first ones to basically figure out how to not have Jay Cutler be a turnover machine by getting rid of the ball more quickly, making quick reads, and just throwing the ball out. And that's been very successful for them. Also, their defense, under his guidance, they're youthful, they're not particularly talented, but yet now they're 9th in the NFL in total defense. I look for the Bears to take a page out of the Minnesota playbook from last week, where they'll sell out to stop the Rams' Todd Gurley and try and make Nick Foles beat them through the air. And as long as the Bears are catching 7 points, I think it's a great value, and love the fact, Peter, that a John Fox coach team is 10-2 against the spread in a road game if they're off a road upset. The Bears as a top dog.
Yeah, I agree with you in general about the Bears with John Fox. I feel like they're the kind of team that's going to get better as the season goes on. I'm still scratching my head about this game, though, because, the Rams were so dominant recently at home against, 2 crappy teams. But still, I'm also thinking about the under. The total is a little bit surprisingly high to me, 42.5. Thinking about buying up to 43 and taking the under. It's a tricky game. I can certainly see the argument for taking the Bears here. What's your third top underdog or false favorite for Week 10, Doug?
We're going to make it a clean sweep. We're going to go all dogs on this one, and we're going to take the New York Giants. Now, I will start this little segment off here, Peter, by saying I will either be correct or I will be incredibly wrong and be a martyr on social media, this upcoming week. Because, you got New England, who, of course, is playing great football, and it makes no sense to back the team that is the worst defensive team in the NFL, the New York Giants, against the top scoring team in the NFL, the New England Patriots. But sometimes, Peter, things just don't work out like they're supposed to. The New York Giants have twice beaten the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. And in their last 6 meetings, the Giants are 5-1 against the spread against Bill Belichick. Every team, Peter, has their kryptonite, and I think the New England's kryptonite is the New York Giants, and I think they're a big conundrum from them just on a regular basis. Also, the G-men are 23-12 against the spread against excellent throwing teams that average 7.5 or more yards per attempt under Tom Coughlin. Sometimes you just have to go with games that just don't make sense. This is one of those for me. I like the Giants plus the 7. No problem.
Doug Upstone, that is maybe the ballsiest call I've heard all year long. I will be incredibly impressed if the Giants wind up I'll be even more impressed than people who took the Colts against Denver last week. As far as I'm concerned, I just can't do it. I just can't bet against the Pats giving only a touchdown. But you might shock the world with your ballsy call on this one.
There's a reason why that line is as low as it is, Peter.
I'm sorry?
There's a reason why that line is as low as it is.
Yes, you're right. You might be right. I'm just saying, I don't have the balls to bet against the Pats, giving just 7 points to the Giants. But we will see how it turns out. We'll also see where the line closes for sure. It's going to be a big public play. So at least you're going to be giving a big anti-public public play here. Doug Upstone, interesting thoughts for NFL Week 10. Talk to you again next week for NFL Week 11.